Hi guys, my name is Emily. This is Brian and Larry, my partners, and we are 11th graders at Westminster High School.
So the title of our project is A Novel Approach Facing the Correlation Between Learned Helplessness and the Education System as a Factor to Teen Suicidality Through Correlative Analysis, Utilizing a Pseudo-IET Test. And the problem we are addressing is, how does the education system affect mental health, and is there really a significant correlation between those two? Through our research, we hypothesize that as age increases, the education system will progressively cause learned helplessness, therefore worsening mental health.
For our procedure, we decided to create a full stack IET test, and we distribute this test from grades 3 to 12. So for the test itself, we used a combination of both front-end and back-end software development. Starting off with the front end, it's built with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, but it's mostly JavaScript so that we can actually record the times that it takes for them to click on a key and correlate words with each other. And this is done with JavaScript async, so asynchronous function, which waits for the user to click a key on their keyboard and records the time. So the IET test is split into 8 sections to increase variability of our data. Once the user finishes their test, the data is sent from their computer to our server, which is built in Node and Express.js, and what this does, basically Node and Express takes the data and then puts it into a database for us to use.
The equipment that were used in this project was mainly a lot of coding and figuring out a way to create a database that can take in all the data. And so with the variables that we controlled, it was mainly students of different age groups and how many honors or APs that they took. And so with that, we tested to see if there was any correlation between how many honors/APs that they took and their mental health. And from this, our test group size was around 650 participants, and the numbers of trials that we had was around 41,000 pieces of data.
In terms of data analysis, we analyzed our participants' data focusing on how factors such as grades and the amount of honors classes they were taking affected their performance on our test. And what we found was that in terms of grades, there was no real variation in terms of performance across the different grade levels and how well they did on the test. However, when it comes to the amount of honors classes, the more honors classes an individual took, they did worse on our test, not only because they were slower to react, but also because they associated negative words faster than positive words, which suggested that in terms of our district, the more honors classes an individual took, the more mental stress they were experiencing. And on that subject, we imagined that the amount of that further research would be expanding the scope into other districts or at the state level, where our data would be interesting in that level to examine how students' mental health are, and subsequently how schools were performing and whether or not they were providing a safe learning environment. And that is essentially the purpose of our experiment. Thank you for listening to our presentation.